Welcome to Dodgers Dogs. As part of the Dodgers Daily Network, Casey Porter here, joined by Coach Holt. Coach, the last comment I made on social media tonight was, what makes this feel so sweet is that this hasn't been easy for the Dodgers. Not in any way, shape, or form. I know the perception outside is you got Ohtani, you got all these great guys. All that's true, but you don't even have Freddie Freeman tonight. You don't have Alex Vesia. I mean, this has been one issue to deal with after the other. This has not been easy. Congratulations to everybody involved.
No, there's nothing easy about anything. The Dodgers, the entire season hasn't been easy. I mean, it looked good for a while. Had a 8 or 9 game lead, and then the Padres got a hot second half of the year and made it a little bit more than interesting. Come down to the last week for the Dodgers really put it away. The playoffs, the Padres series was, everybody thought they were dead in the water at 2-1, on the road. And they came back and scrapped. And we've been saying this a long time, Case, and nothing has changed my mind. It's even gets strengthened every time I see them take the field. This is not only is this probably the most talented Dodger team from top to bottom that's ever been assembled, from 1 through 9 and lineup and what have you, but it's the grittiest. I mean, these guys got some dirt dauber in them. I mean,
they do,
and they've come from behind when things look bad. And let's face it, dude, when you're having to throw bullpen games in a playoff series, and they have to, these are the right decisions. But
and different pitchers. It wasn't like you had one script of a bullpen game, and there's like 3 times that you threw the. I mean, today you started Michael Kopech and had Ben Kasparius pitching, right?
Yeah, Kasparius gets a win. Kopech's just
did he really? Yeah, Kasparius got the win.
Yeah.
Oh, hot damn! How about that?
Yeah, he got the win, and I was looking before we went on the air here, and he got the win. And Kopech was just a little high. I mean, whatever. He still, it had been a tough play for Taylor. We could have, make that play where out the inning they don't get a run, even though he's high. But
a major leaguer should make that play.
Yeah, I mean, major league. Yeah, I agree. A good throw got him.
Yes.
They gave him a hit, but honestly, they should replay a good throw would have had him. So it is what it is. But
Freddie Freeman being in the lineup had him probably.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Freddie's 6'5". The difference of a guy 5'10", 5'11", and 6'5". But
Muncy was thinking about that shoulder injury too. That's how he hurt it.
Yep.
So I mean, he was probably had a little bit of. He was probably out towards the field a little bit more than he was towards the runner, just thinking about that,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's some things to remember there that you don't want to remember. But this team, like I said, different people in the bullpen, they've had to grind. They've had to grind this entire year. Even from our manager has to grind. Every time he grabs that freaking lineup card.
Yes, he does. Congratulations, Dave Roberts.
I like to see how many lineup cards he's tore up or ripped to shreds because he's – whatever. I know they don't do that stuff like we, but whatever. I mean, is Freddie ready to play? Freddie will let him know. Can you go tonight or not? He'll say yes or no. And the great thing about it now, we don't play again until Friday. We should see the best we can see of Freddie Freeman. But if it's a high ankle sprain, those things last forever. He may not ever be 100% the rest of the year, whatever. We know he's going to be a heck of a lot better. He got the day off. And he's going don't have to play again until Friday. So we'll get the best version of Freddie Freeman that we can get right now. And the great part about it,
so the first game's Friday. Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It said World Series. I know it showed. Wow. If you're Yankees, you're probably not enjoying that too much. But the Dodgers got several days off. It said Friday.
4 days.
They'll start. Yeah, it's about. I guess they were just kind of planning if it went on and you got travel, what have you. But I saw it tonight. I wasn't sure. It said first game's Friday. So it'll be, you do what you got to do there. But I mean, the Dodgers have grinded out that they need some rest. I mean, Freddie, you're not going to get Vesia back. Some of those guys aren't coming back. But all the nicked up and
Gavin Lux might be totally perfect by that time.
Yeah, he'll be totally perfect. Freddie will be the best he can be, and he should be able to go. We'll see how he's getting the best of care and all that stuff. So, but the Dodgers have been tested. I'm sure you look up again. We're probably going to be there. I had looked at the Yankees close enough. I know they got, good starting pitching. They're probably going to have the edge of the starting pitching. They're not going to be any grittier than the Dodgers. They're sure not going to – the bullpen, I'm sure without even looking, it's not going to be better than the Dodgers, even though they got a little chink in their armor tonight. But I think John Smoke said it best. The Mets have seen these guys a lot.
Yes,
they're seeing these guys a lot now. They're starting to see. They still weren't wearing us out, but they were getting some hits and scoring some runs.
That's the biggest problem of relying on your bullpen is that you see the same guys over and over and over.
Absolutely.
As if it's a starter, you only see him once every 5 days. You probably only see him once in this series, right?
And if he's a closer, just certain people see him. The whole damn team didn't see him. He may come in a closing situation. He may only face 3 or 4 batters. So, it's a totally different deal. It is what it is. There's no getting away from it. We're going to have to do it again in the World Series.
Against a way better team.
Against a way better team. Great thing about it, Mookie and Ohtani were getting base hits. They were getting on base. Muncie's taking his walks. He's getting on base. And Tommy Edman is just a freaking stud. Hitting 4-hole tonight, driving in 4 runs of our first.
I want that guy on my team.
Yep. He's hitting 4-hole and driving in runs. That's what he's supposed to do, baby. He's a coach's kid. Let's go.
Yeah. Hey, the biggest compliment I can get him, what I would call him, if he was on my team, if I was a manager and he was on my team, I would give him a nickname that would be the ultimate compliment for me. You know what I'd call him? I call him that little fart, man. Yeah. That little fart right there. How many of your players have you got that little fart right there? That always means that little sucker might not be the biggest. He doesn't look like he should be, but he's always the best freaking player on the field, right?
Yeah, and he's always that guy. We always tell stories about there's that guy. You heard about that guy. He's always that guy.
That guy.
It's a little fart, and I had a coach many years ago, and I probably used this more than I should have, and probably shouldn't use it now. Same thing about a player. He called him little shitter. He said, "Oh, that little shitter,
absolutely.
That little shitter boy, he'll start something up. He'll take a pitch, and in the back, he'll break it back when you could break plays up at second base." I had a kid out of Cushing, Todd George. His hat was always crooked and black. You couldn't even tell what his baseball cap. But he used that term a lot. It came from his football coach, the great Ron Harmon, legendary football coach in Oklahoma. That's where that came from. So I always loved that term. Same thing as a little fart.
Harmons know a little bit about football, don't they?
Oh, they do. His son's the same way. Old Scotty, a good people. Yeah. Great Oklahoma legend.
He's a crazy sucker, man.
Yes, he is.
You had to know.
Him in line anyway.
Yeah, no doubt. We mentioned this on the pregame show, Coach. I think it was fairly predictable that Michael Kopech was going to have nerves, and I think that was pretty obvious. What really worried me about this game, and I think if you watched the pregame, I showed a lot of worry because exactly what happened. I was so worried that Kopech was going to come out and be nervous, get the Dodgers in a 1-0 hole or 2-0. Coach, that could have easily been 3-0, right? And then Edman doesn't get the 2-out base hit, and that could have easily been 3-0 like by the 4th inning. And then you're just not feeling very good about it. Then you start tensing up. But thank God it didn't. That was my biggest concern. It actually happened, but what the Dodgers bullpen did tonight, kind of like the entire season, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't efficient. It wasn't like comfortable. But somehow when you look up, they just got the job done, right?
Well, there's no doubt about it. I mean, this one definitely wasn't pretty. We started out with Kopech. Case, I wasn't around. Friday night I was out in the hills of Arkansas. Yeah, amazingly, we had a radio. We had a YouTube TV, something out there. I had no cell phone service, but by God, we could watch TV. So I had the Dodgers game on.
Good, yeah.
I watched the Dodgers, watched OSU football that night, which wasn't very pretty. Neither one of those games were pretty Friday. But the only concern I had, okay, the Mets are good. They kicked our ass. The concern I had is what you had and what everybody had. The longer this thing goes and the more our bullpen has to throw, they've got the edge again in starting pitching. They have Manaea tonight. They were set up for starting pitching the next 2 games. We're bullpenning it. The worst case scenario, I'm sitting there not going, and they did the right thing. The Mets guys were putting pressure on these pitchers. They were making them throw more pitches than they want. I'm sitting there going, we tax our whole damn bullpen here and get beat. Mm-hmm. We're screwed unless Buehler come out.
Game 7 was who the heck knows?
It's anybody's game. That's why I saw a lot of people on social media. I get it. They're like, hey, do we want to win it? And go ahead and win in New York. We want to come back to LA and win in front of our fans. I thought,
hell no,
as quick as possible.
Yes.
We all said the same thing. We want to end it on Game 5.
Yes.
Because the longer it goes, the Mets get the advantage because they got starting pitching set up, and they're seeing the Dodgers relievers over and over and over again. So luckily, that's out the window. We can forget about that. It didn't happen. We did see some of that. There was a chink in the Dodgers bullpen this entire day, but they've been so good, even when they're not as good, they're still good. I guess that's the way I want to put it. They got a late run off Tron, and he was unhittable in the 8th when he come in, and he was still dirty. And even in the 9th, they got a couple of soft contact hits and what have you. To credit to them, they got a run in there. I never felt like they were going to come back on him, but the bullpen showed a chink in its armor, and I think we all expected that. First of all, they're getting tired. They're throwing a lot. The Mets guys are seeing them.
Right?
Yeah, the Mets guys are seeing them. They're getting the book is getting thicker on the guys. So, no, we're not going to expect.
And after the runs in the bottom of the 8th, there had to be at least just you're human. There had to be some kind of let up, right? Just mentally.
No doubt about it. It has to be. Those are big runs. I'm not feeling great. I'm not cute. 7-4 or whatever the heck it was. I'm not feeling great.
I didn't feel good
at
all at 3. I just kept saying, get one more, get me to 4. Because when the Mets had the bases loaded and we were up 3, I was like, this is why I want 4, because if they go long ball here, we are behind, right?
Yeah. They had them loaded, I think, twice we got out of it. At least 2 times in the game they left them loaded.
Phillips couldn't throw a freaking strike. I was like, dude, come on, man.
That's almost he's been out too long. They were talking about it's been so long since he pitched.
I agree.
I think he was just been
too
out
much
too long.
bite on that slider sweeper,
Yeah, I mean, it was never in the zone. I mean, he was having a tough time. But, the bottom line, the Dodgers got it done, and we're bottom line people now. Hey, forget about it. The Mets.
Dave set that tone. We are bottom line people.
That's it. We're just black and white. We got to win tonight, and it doesn't have to be pretty or anything like you said. Hey, the Mets had a great run. Oh, my God, what a great run for them during the playoffs. I know they're not in it for any consolation prizes, but, what a great run and what a great opponent. It was a great series. Dodgers won at 6, and just like the Padres series, a great series, and I have no doubt in my mind the legendary Dodgers versus Yankees, again, is going to be legendary.
Yeah. Hadn't happened since 1981, which is unbelievable because
we won that.
My mind,
won that one,
in my mind, absolutely. In my mind, I just remember the World Series always being the Dodgers and Yankees. Obviously, that wasn't the case, but for some reason, that's just kind of what my mind went to. Yeah, and then when they weren't in it, it was the Cardinals.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, the Cardinals. The Dodgers, I noticed tonight they've got the most appearances. 20. This is the 22nd now. Now I know the Cardinals have got 11 World Series titles. They're right behind the Yankees as far as the number of World Championships. But I was looking here the Yankees. This is their 41st appearance. The Dodgers 22nd. They faced each other 12. This is the 12th time. The Yankees are 8-3 against us. So we got some work to do. The last one you talked about, 81. The Dodgers won that one. I'm pretty sure that. I think you won that one. That's one of the few. Me and Rex celebrated big time that night. I remember because we were Yankee haters and got it done, Dodger lovers. So I do remember that series pretty vividly. So it's exciting. Some of the biggest stars on the planet. Mookie, Freddie, Ohtani. You got Judge. And what about Giancarlo Stanton? I've watched enough of that guy. He's killing it.
God.
And he's so stinking big. He got that short, compact swing. He just murders the ball. And then you got Juan Soto. I mean, good Lord. This is some of the biggest stars in baseball, not only now, but
and the
history.
Two best teams. And the two best
There's
teams.
no doubt the 2 best teams. They have been from day one. Yeah. We talked about during the regular season when both of them were
the
struggling.
Dodgers and them were the only 2 that recovered from their bad plays.
Yes.
Right.
The Phillies never did. The Braves certainly got worse. The Phillies never did. You're right. Absolutely.
You hit on that several times. I cut you off there because I was quoting you many different times throughout the season how all these teams had their dips, and then the Yankees and Dodgers were the only 2 that came out of their dips the fastest and for the longest periods of time. And so they too are the 2 best teams, no doubt about it. Hey, Coach, I did not like how Dave Roberts handled Game 5. I'll say that point blank, and I've got receipts on this is not second guessing, this is first guessing. I have it on social media. As soon as Jack Flaherty walked Pete Alonso, his ass needed to go, right? Hey, you mentioned this is a bottom line team now. Dave has set the bottom line. He didn't look good. It wasn't my comment was, I hope this doesn't go sideways. Boom, it did, right? Yep. So I thought he was too big picture in Game 6. I understand when you're as thin as the Dodgers are, there is a certain amount of punt to it that you have to do to make sure that you are fully loaded for the games that you can win. I get it, but I didn't like that mentality because I've just seen that snowball start and it worries me to death. Other than that, I don't know that he made a single mistake the entire series. I mean, you kidding me? You start Chris Taylor tonight. He gets 2 hits, hits one hard off the right field ball, gets a bunt down. Yeah. Your first 2 pitchers are. I mean, you have Ben Kasparius come in and throw 2 freaking innings. I mean, you're able to get Daniel Hudson, I think probably your lowest leverage arm, to face the bottom of the lineup, right? Yep. Which was perfect. I know he gave up 1, but it would have been more than that if he would have had to face the middle lineup, right? And then you got the ball to Blake Trinan for 6 outs with a 3-run lead. I mean, it was just masterful, the job that Dave did.
I think we talked about Game 5. I wasn't around at postgame. I was on my way to Arkansas, but about not being big picture. And I didn't think we would be because we couldn't be. When you're up 3-1, it's easy to go, yeah, well, we still got the hell with that. Especially when you're starting pitching so thin and you're relying on the bullpen for that. Kind of what we talked about. That one blew up in our face. We were looking big picture. He wasn't big picture tonight. He was shooting all of his. We were shooting all of our bullets tonight.
To hell with Game 7.
Yeah, we get beat. It is what it is. Hey, let me know if anybody can throw tomorrow's throwing. You know, and I don't give a shit how many pitches you got to throw.
Kike?
So that's where we were. Yeah, Kike's pretty dirty at 52 miles an hour. He'll get them swinging in it. But I like the way he went tonight. Is like, okay, yeah, we're starting Kopech. You know, you don't ever do that. Whatever, may not be a great move, but it is what it is.
And we've said it many different times. I think Dodgers fans have to be very pleased, with winning World Series, regardless of what happens. I don't think people understand it. Not always the best team wins, and it doesn't. I mean, you have to be better. You have to have more than just talent and being good to win. You also have to have good fortune on your side. So whatever happens from here happens. But, man, this has been absolutely one hell of a ride for the Dodgers. And, I mean, it's just a moment that, at least for tonight, Dodgers fans need to really celebrate.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about it because you said it from the start to tonight. This hasn't been easy. There's nothing easy. You think when you look at the Dodgers getting Ohtani and Yamamoto, you know, everybody's making, hey, what the hell? You know, the Dodgers up there, they're buying the World Series title. You know, they didn't get the trading deadline. We make great moves there. It didn't matter. It's still baseball. There's great baseball players all over the world, all in the major leagues. And we saw what the Padres did and what the Mets have done here in the last part of the year. These teams were putting pressure on people, and they did it in the playoffs. It didn't matter. The Dodgers had greatest lineup from 1 to 9, but then you start losing starting pitching. You get guys, Mookie breaks his freaking hand. I mean, you got guys out for an extended period of time. And Dave Roberts was masterful the entire year. I mean, it had to be. So that was a battle to the end. And when we talk about, we're on record saying this case, it's not after the fact.
Yes.
We said this before the regular season ended. I think this Dodger team is more prepared because they have had to battle all the way. They didn't win by a 14 game.
You've nailed that for a long time.
Last year they won by 14 games and cruised into. There was no cruising here. There was no cruising. Your manager doesn't have a cruising mindset because he can't. And he looks up and he's going, I had one of my buddies tonight. The guy, Brent Antoine, he's a great baseball guy. Yeah. You know, Brent, he's at Piedmont.
Piedmont. Yeah, I had many battles against him.
Yes, he's a great guy. Cubs fan. Still love him. He knows he's a Cubs fan. He took my place at Fairview. I thought he texted me right before the game. He goes, did you ever think you would see a bullpen game in the Major League playoffs? And he's exactly right. And we've talked about this. And then we're seeing it. And we're going to see it again. You know, and that was unheard of a few years ago. But it's the right move. We talked about it. I mean, we had to do it tonight. And if all hell broke loose, we're probably doing the same thing. I mean, you'd have Buehler ready to go tomorrow. And that's a good sign because the way he's been pitching.
Okay, so you have 4 innings mapped out at best.
Yeah, but he's not going to go 9. No, he wasn't going 9. So
now what?
You still got something. So it's what I said. Everybody get in the freaking tub tonight and let me know tomorrow how you feel because you're throwing. Get the old Bengay out. Remember the old icy hot case? Everybody's going to have the same smell tomorrow. But luckily now they're all going to smell like champagne and stale beer if they don't shower and go home and have a headache tomorrow.
And they're going to need Doc Brown's elixir for whatever. In the morning for whatever it is that helps hangover.
Whatever it is, ails them. You're in L.A., get a hangover, chill out tomorrow with the family, lay on the couch if you're not married, and take some naps. Hey, let's go. Let's get to practicing on Tuesday. Well, I don't know how they do it. Hell, they may all show. I can't imagine them doing much tomorrow. But
I'll tell you another unconventional part of the way Dave managed. He brought in a lot of different pitchers in the middle of innings.
Yeah.
Not because the other pitcher was just had to go, just because the matchup aspect. I'm not real big on that. I like to let relievers have their own clean inning. And we saw Ryan Brazier give up the home run to Vientos. I'm not going to lie. Right when he gave up that home run, I was worried. I mean, I was like, man, this game, I had that knot in my stomach.
6-3, it went from 6-1 to 6-3, yep.
I mean, and the Mets are capable. That one worried me. And then also, The other part of the game where I was less worried because I trust him totally, but I still is like, I've seen dumber things happen. I just couldn't figure out the Evan Phillips thing. I mean, like, what's going on, right?
Yep. Yeah, I think only way you can really attribute that is it's been a while since he's thrown. I mean, yeah. I'll say that. Hell, I don't know. Maybe he's been sore. We don't know the inner workings of what's going on here. But yeah, he was struggling. The breaking pitch wasn't even close. I mean, it was out of the zone. They weren't offering that. Again, they've seen him enough. They weren't offering anything, and yeah, it wasn't very pretty right there. But he's still one of our dudes. And Friday night he'll be ready to go. Get some champagne in him tonight. Get that baby iced up. Get some fart licks out there on those foul poles, those poles out there in the outfield. And run that. Get that lactic acid out of their case. Run that shit out of there. Remember that. That's what I always tell them. Get that jacket on. Get up there and run that out of there. But anyway, whatever they call it, I'm sure they got a different word for it now. It's the same damn thing.
Yeah,
they're going to run it out and get ready for Friday night.
Hey, if you had Anthony Bonda and Ben Kasparius running right through the middle of the Mets lineup in the NLCS to clinch it at the beginning of the game and a big part of it, you need to call. You need to message me, and we need to go to Vegas together, right? I mean, who could have predicted that?
Well, let's go back. I mean, Case, we'll even go back to Game 5. Our boy Henriquez came in.
Yes.
Did he throw 3 innings? I know we got our ass kicked. I mean,
I think.
He's gone at least 2 or 3. I don't have that in front of me. He threw multiple innings. I'm sitting there thinking, while I'm sitting all out there in the woods and out in the middle of nowhere, watch the game, I'm thinking, this is going to help down the line.
Yes, correct.
Because we're getting our ass kicked, and he's giving us. It's not but we're still striking distance. So, but he's giving us a chance to not have to bring some guys in, and it probably helped us going into the night. What it 2 or 3 innings? I mean, I can look it up.
It was 2 innings.
2 innings. Okay.
Yeah.
But again, here we are, a guy who wasn't even just added to the roster, and that's a big 2 innings that somebody didn't have to throw. They had to throw tonight. In other words, you got a bullpen game coming up. You got to stay away from those guys.
Hey, Coach, we have a $9.99 super chat. How about that? From Roy Song. So glad Teo broke out of his slump. Another great team win. Let's go, Dodgers. 4 more wins. Now I can relax while listening to you guys. Brought this up on the pregame, Coach. I know that you have done this many, many different times. And I've heard you.
Go ahead. Okay.
I've actually seen you do this, okay? So Teo Hernandez is struggling, right? You must have got a text message, right?
No, I was just listening to you. Go ahead.
Okay. One of these deals. Okay. So you have this guy that's struggling, right? And the conventional wisdom is, well, he's struggling, so let's move him down in the lineup.
Yeah.
Well, instead, as a manager, you want to show confidence with this guy. You move him up in the lineup, and you walk up to him and you go, hey, man, I'm moving you up a couple spots in the lineup because I believe in you, right? I got your back. I believe in you, and I think that you're going to break out tonight. That's why. And so when that player sees their name moved up in the lineup, there's just a sense of confidence that gets shot into them. Is that 210 foil for me, or does that play a factor with Dave showing Teo Hernandez that he has his back on that?
Yeah, it's got to. I mean, if you're a player, you see you're moving up, especially when Tommy Edman walked in today, I'm hitting cleanup. Okay. Yeah. It's like back during the season when Lux was hitting 3-hole. He was the best hitter at the time. At that exact time, he was our hottest hitter. So, no, there's no doubt that you walk in the clubhouse and see that, go, oh, okay. For whatever reason, let's go. That's a big shot in the arm. These are major league players. They don't need a pat on the back all the time. They know they got to work for their position, earn everything they get. They ask Edman in the dugout there, which I hate the in-game interviews. Trust me, I just hate them. But whatever.
They're terrible.
They're doing it, and they ask him, how do you like hitting cleanup? I think his answer was, evidently. Is that good for you? Evidently. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Guy's a good pitcher. I hit the ball.
I hit a home run. I've driven in 4 runs.
Yeah.
Evidently, it's going pretty good for me. It was a good answer. He wasn't a smart ass about it like I would have been, but his answer said it all. Yeah, evidently, I guess so. In other words,
Coach, unfortunately, we both have to work tomorrow. Do you have any final thoughts? I'm going to continue on here and read the chat. Okay. But do you have any final thoughts? I know I got you for 30 minutes, so I was very happy about that. So I'm going to let you get to bed and get there and go celebrate and get to Glencoe tomorrow. But do you have any final thoughts?
No, it's just I think you hit around the head when we first went on. This team is grinding. I don't know what's going to happen in the World Series. I do know this. Dave Roberts will manage his ass off. Our players will grind their ass off, and they will represent themselves and their family and the best way they possibly can. Again, no participation trophies, but it's a big deal to get to where they are right now. They're in the World Series. That's why that's why they've only done it 22 times in their illustrious history, because it's hard to freaking do.
Yes.
So all I know is they're going to manage their ass off. They're going to play their ass off, and they're going to have a chance of winning a world title. There ain't no doubt in my mind. I know what we're facing. That team is not unbeatable. They're a very good team. As you said, Case, these have been the two best teams in baseball the entire year. They're the only two that came out of their slumps and got back into the mix and didn't ruin their season. So it's almost like it's justice. We haven't seen it, like you said, since 1981. But you go back in the old days, you watch the old videos of some of the greatest plays and players in the history of baseball. A lot of times it's the old Brooklyn Dodgers against the Yankees or the LA Dodgers against the Yankees. I can't wait. Got some friends that are Yankee fans. I'll start giving them hell. It's been a long time since a couple of these guys weren't even born then. I know. One guy I know he wasn't even born in 1981. I'm gonna tell him shut up. But anyway, we'll still talk crap to each other because I love him. But anyway, it's the way it should be. Dodgers and Yankees for all the marbles. I love our Dodger dogs. All the people listening and texting into you, and you're getting ready to answer them. And love them. Love our Dodgers, and love you, Casey Porter. Go Dodgers.
I love looking at your face, and I love you too, Coach. Another thing about this before you get off here, it's not like both teams just got hot and they weren't very good and they were wild. I mean, these are both franchises at the top of their game, right?
Yep.
I mean, you're getting the best version of the Yankees versus the best version of the Dodgers. I think that part of it's exciting too.
Yeah, as far as recent history, this is the best two teams these two teams have had in a long time. And Boone has got a lot of heat over there as a manager of the Yankees. Some of him may have earned. I don't know. You think Dave's
he seems abrasive.
You think Dave's under the microscope in L.A. Just go to just 10 times it and go to be the Yankees manager. But he's a little abrasive. But he comes from baseball stock. Those Boones are hardcore baseball guys. So
there's a lot of stupid people in his world, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, there are a bunch of stupid. But anyway, Don't think for a minute our little guy from the Red Sox ain't tough either, though. Dave Roberts.
Oh, my God.
He'll give them hell, give them what for.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, Coach. Hey, thanks for joining. Appreciate it. And congratulations to the Dodgers, all right?
Congratulations to L.A. Celebrate tonight and get some rest, get a little work in. Let's hit it Friday night.
Hopefully we'll get you for the pregame Friday, Coach. See ya.
You bet. Take care.
All right, man. All right, so there is Coach Holt, and hey, I'm going to go ahead and read some of the chat now, and then we're actually awaiting for Tim Rogers. I'm going to text him right now. I'm going to text him and tell him I'm by myself now. So give me just a second. I've got a hold of Tim Rogers, and he actually was at the game. So ready when you are. 1 second here. All right, he was actually at the game, and he's getting ready to log in to our meeting, and he's going to join the show here in just a second and give us a firsthand account of exactly what the game was like for him and how everything went as far as that goes. So super excited to get to talk to Tim Rogers here in just a minute. Super excited to get to talk to you. Here are the Dodgers Dogs on the Dodgers Daily Network. Hey, Wilmer Edwards, thank you so much for joining. Gregory, our wonderful moderator. Let's go, Dodgers. Great evening. It absolutely 100% is. Daniel Berry Sports Highlight. 2024 National League champs. They just won the pennant. No doubt about that. Dialing in a minute. Let's do a little testing, says Tim Rogers. And as soon as he gets on here, I will get him on here. Hey, Tony Forkus, thank you so much for joining. We believe, Casey, we believe now. Have a little fun here on the post-game show tonight. William Staff, thank you so much for joining. Hey, Gregory, I agree. This does feel absolutely great. Fernando, 1,000%. The bullpen was completely the MVP. And then also the way that Dave mapped it, the way that he managed it, the way that he trusted it, the way that he used his eyes in certain situations, and then he used analytics and matchups in others. And then, all that's great, but Dave will be the first one to tell you, you can put all that into practice and do all these things, but if guys don't go out and execute, then none of that matters, right? So got to give the Dodgers a lot of credit for that. Hey, thank you so much for joining. Cole Trinan was throwing wiffle balls, just nasty. Yeah, that thing that turns left, that sweeper, slider, whatever you want to call it, that is one of the nastiest pitches I have ever seen. And when he gets the ball, same with Evan Phillips too, and all these guys, but I just feel like the game's over when he gets it. It's just very relaxing, just knowing he's going to throw enough strikes to be very effective with the other team. And so, yeah, he definitely does throw wiffle balls, and he is very, very, very impressive. Cole, I agree with you that Dave Roberts is the real MVP. And there's Tim Roberts right there that he is getting ready to log in. Tim, do you hear me? All right, there he is. I got you, brother. I got you. Sweet. Okay, so we are going to.
Can you see me?
Yeah, you're cutting in and out with your video. The folks can't see it yet, but getting ready to.
Just get my seatbelt on.
Yeah, I actually got Tim Neverett up there. I'm going to have to change that. So while I do that, Coach, why don't you go through? We've got your audio at least. Now go through the first-hand account of the game tonight.
Well, of course, it's really just crazy crowded. There's 55,000 people there. So given that, it's just I really didn't want Kovac to start.
Yeah,
and
right.
Exactly why. This is exactly what happened. He got nervous. We've seen that a few times on the mound. All of a sudden he comes into a game and doesn't have it. So, I mean, the walks were a consistent problem the whole game until the very end there. Thank goodness Blake Trinan just came in and did what needed to be done. And then we had, just the Dodger offense. They could have swept this series if we really think about it. But we understand some of these plans they had to do. Hey,
Tim, I lost your video. If you can get that back, I don't know if you can or not.
Let's see if I should. Why can't I get the video? It's audio on CarPlay. Let's see. Is it? How about now?
Nope, no video. We're good though.
Yeah, we can. Oh wait.
There you go. Gotcha, man. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, there we go. We got it.
I'm going to see if I can go this way.
There you go. Yeah, it's even better if you do that. Hey, nothing like a little bit of on-screen time production here. That's perfect right there, Tim. That is absolutely perfect. There we go.
Can you?
Yeah. You sound perfect.
Hear me?
You sound perfect.
Okay.
Nope, just lost your audio. There you go.
If you guys saw the traffic, you'd just go, why do we live anywhere close to this area?
Yeah, right. Right.
I'm probably just gonna hang here for a bit. But yeah, we had the key was of course Teoscar Hernandez, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
He came back. Will Smith coming back. This is going. I'm getting my audio not listening to me correctly here.
Yeah, no, you sound perfect.
Okay, I can barely hear you, but I'm good with that. I'll be fine.
CT3 had a good night.
I can get on Bluetooth.
There you go.
There we go. Even better.
Perfect.
Transfer.
How about now?
You sound perfect either way.
Okay. We'll go for.
Yeah. So I mean, the key was just that offense and some of those guys that hadn't been hitting to hit again.
Yeah.
Teo and Will Smith. And what did Will Smith do? He hit that home run. I mean, my goodness. Tommy Edman.
Isn't he amazing?
The littlest cleanup hitter.
Yeah, of all time.
He still hasn't walked this whole postseason.
He's the difference maker, isn't he?
Oh my gosh. Really, props to those guys. To everybody. To Andrew Friedman and management for the trade deadline. Mm-hmm. They got the best starting pitcher that was available. They took a chance.
And he did win game 1.
Yep.
So he made a big impact.
He did. And they took a chance with Edman.
Yeah.
It was a wrist injury, right? And then he got some type of ankle injury or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he hadn't even taken an at-bat until he got with it. I think he had some maybe some double-A at-bats before he got to the Dodgers. That was it.
Yeah, and it was like what 3 or 4 games. So that was a risk, and it's really paid off. I mean, they, with Miguel Rojas compromised, I don't know if he can play. Doesn't matter because we have a starting shortstop. His name's Tommy Edman.
I agree. He needs to be the starting shortstop next year. I've said that many different times.
Yeah, well, he should be. No matter what happens with Miggy Rowe, I think he's got to be starting every game. And Andy Pages put together. He had the good game the other day. He had some decent at bats today. Really not the success that he wanted, but I think he's more comfortable. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going through my head.
I couldn't believe Ben Kasparius threw 2 innings tonight. That just blows my mind. We both have talked to Ben. We both love Ben, and there's nobody that believes in Ben more than us, maybe other than like Tom Penders back there at UConn and his wife Erin Matson and all these guys, right? But I could not believe that.
And that was awesome. And those were 4 really big outs.
Oh man. Yeah, not 2 innings, 4 outs, yeah.
Yeah, but and the way that because Kopech couldn't get his outs and Phillips was shaky. That was the guy I wanted to start.
Yeah. Yeah, just to get off to a good start. That worried me when I saw Kopech. I'm not gonna lie, I puckered just a touch when I saw that. Just because I thought he'd be nervous about it,
Right, and he was. So Dodgers don't do that again.
Go ahead.
And if there's an opportunity to get him in a World Series game, now we can say it. We're not jinxing it. We can say it.
Yeah,
we're in the World Series. No assumptions. We're in. But if they can get if there's where they're way ahead, then you put Kopech in and let him get his feet wet a little bit. But you just don't know when it's going to happen with him.
Mm-hmm. Who pitches game 1?
Yeah, I was going to look at the math a little bit. I think I go Yamamoto.
Yeah, versus Cole.
Because of the the whole 6-man rotation thing with him.
Yeah.
Because then he could pitch in either game, maybe game 6, but game 7.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you can have him twice.
Yep.
Like you did against the Padres.
Yeah, so if there's a way to get 5 starts, maybe 6 starts from real starters, that would be great.
Yeah. Yeah, because the problem is the bullpen games are great, but like when it's a starter deal, then you're seeing each pitcher less, right? Yeah. If you go bullpen every game, then the Yankees are going to start seeing Evan Phillips and Michael Kopech and Blake Trinan every night, and that's going to give them an advantage as the series goes on. So at some point, the Dodgers have to start going back to, at least more so than they are now, the starter system.
Yeah, I agree because, we saw it tonight. The Mets had some really good at-bats today.
Yeah.
Forget the walks. Just they hit the ball pretty hard a lot of times. Not unexpected, but really as I'm thinking about the game, Anthony Banda.
Yeah.
Really.
He always comes through, doesn't he? Yeah. It never just goes totally sideways on him. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It looked a little scary.
It did. It did. He always figures it out though.
And he took care of business and but let's talk, just thinking about it, they have 3 relievers that I don't know what their status is. Joe Kelly, Alex Vesia, and Brusdar Graterol. They need one of those guys. Preferably Vesia.
Vesia. Do you think that's a possibility?
I don't know. I was trying to probe a little bit. And I got
you're more optimistic about that than most of the people I've talked to. Then that's good.
I'm hoping we get one of them. That's I don't know.
Over who? Who would you remove off this roster? Enriquez?
It's probably Landon.
Yeah, Landon. Yeah. Right. That makes sense.
That, but Edgardo. And you and Salas, you guys warned us, about Edgardo.
Yeah,
and he is erratic. He's 22. He's throwing it's just you don't know.
It is what it is. It is what it is right now.
But I don't think. I mean, he gave up a lot of a lot of runs to the Padres. That was just, hey, just go and throw strikes and get done.
Sure.
But he was okay against the Mets. I think he threw, I'm going to say 3-4 innings. He gave up 1 or 2 runs.
Yeah. Worked out of some jams.
Yeah, I mean, they're just going to need. Someone's going to have to step up if if they just get one of those guys. If we get all 3 of those guys, that's great. I'm not counting on it. I'm not counting on Miggy Rowe, even though I would like him to get a shot. And now this is getting sentimental. I would love to see Miguel Rojas get a chance to play a game in a World Series.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if he's because you can go and say, hey, we're going to put him on the roster, and he's going to try. And if he's no good, you kick him off and you put Kiermaier back on.
Yeah. Right.
I
do like the late game defensive substitution of the options of Kiermaier, though.
Yeah.
I do like that. I've said that for a long time.
But shout out to Chris Taylor today. Two really good hits. That weird bunt.
Yeah. Of which that's probably been the most critical I've been on him. Hey, hitting is what it is. It's hard to do. You get in a slump, it's hard to get out of, whatever. All players do it, and I don't like to dog on a guy when he's down like that because hitting is so hard.
Right.
But the one thing you can do if you're not hitting is you can execute the game of baseball and get your damn bunts down, right? Something that Chris Taylor had not done until tonight. So that was really big for me. The hits were great, and I actually even predicted that he would have a good night in the pregame just because Minaya is a guy that the velo's down, and so where Chris Taylor gets into problems is against high velo up in the zone with that uppercut. He just can't catch up to it, right? Yeah. But guys that use the bottom of the zone and then don't have overly excessive velos to the top, he can handle those type of pitchers, which is what the Mets had, So that wasn't a surprise to me that Chris Taylor had success.
Yeah, and it was, I mean, in the balls the ball he bunted, even before that, the pitch was way inside. It was more of a defensive thing. Yeah. It looked like the second one, too, was that way, too. And it was almost, I mean, that was a dumb play by Alonso, though.
It was. Just panic. You're losing. Yep. It's panic. That's what happens, though. I say it over and over. You get a lead and you put pressure. I hear this all the time from these analytical guys. Oh, well, major leaguers don't make mistakes. I'm telling you, man, the more pressure you put on a defense, they screw up like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And they're human.
Yes.
They're not robots. And that seems to still get one of those things where it just seems they're missing that. They're forgetting that, again, we remind ourselves all the time that baseball is a very hard game.
Very hard game.
You just can't. It's just an awfully hard game. And I think sometimes they just get lost in some of that, and they just think they're robots in that way, and they're just going to produce no matter what. And it seems sometimes the way they lay out the pitching, they're just assuming. Well, all the assumptions on the pitching were out the window.
Yeah.
They wanted to get more than one inning out of Kopech.
Yeah. They were probably won 3 innings out of him. They were probably wanting whatever he and Kasparius got combined. They were probably wanting that out of Kopech.
Yep. And I think they were expecting more from Phillips too. I mean,
yes. They were not wanting Blake. They were not wanting Daniel Hudson probably to have to throw an inning there, and they probably weren't letting Blake trying to have to throw 2. So I think there was a 2-inning gap there that Dave was hoping not to have to cover.
Yeah, I agree. And Blake Trinan, geez, I mean, he gave up a run at the end. It didn't matter. He was just out there pounding the zone. You know that.
He was pitching team baseball is what he was doing. We have a lead. I don't care if I give up a run. I don't care if that goes on my personal tally. I'm going to put my team in the best position to win. That's what that run was. So in a lot of ways, that run to me impressed me more about Blake Trinan than a lot of other things he does, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then, what was it? Just a couple inches of overhead over Taylor's head, and wasn't there one like the same inning over Edmonds' head?
Yeah, right.
Just like, oh my gosh, if Corey Seager was out there, he gets those.
Hey, Tim.
Because he's so freaking tall.
Got a question here from Ela Shiva. She frequents both of our shows.
Oh,
Yeah, wonderful,
yes.
wonderful Dodger fan. Hey, any chance?
Yes.
Of course, she's a huge, huge Dave Roberts fan, as I am too. I'm not. I haven't really asked you about Dave, so I'll let you explain that for yourself. But any chance that this quiets down all of the Dave hate?
Well, it'll quiet it down until the next game, and that's just the way it is. But I think Dave Roberts, he proved a lot to me this time.
Did he climb into Dodgers fans' trust tree?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he is. For all of us, if we don't understand, I think it's a good point. He does move up there. He moves higher and higher because of what he did. I'm sorry, but getting these 2 series is amazing.
And the way he did it, I mean, just as spot on.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. More often than not, he pulled the right strings, and then, I don't like to use the term, but I'm going to use it, but it's really not completely true. They kind of gave away games 2 and 5. They really didn't, but they go,
Punted.
hey,
You're not going to use the word punted.
Punted, whatever. But they said, hey, we have to win 4 games.
Man, that takes balls. That takes balls to say. I hated it. I hated it. I mean, but they had confidence in their plan, right? I mean, I personally hated it.
Yeah, it drives me nuts, and I still don't understand why, if Flaherty was sick, why he started him. But I think that was, I was thinking about that further because I had said on my show, the Dodgers should consider bullpen games for games 2, 5, and 7.
Yes.
Because there's off days after those.
Yes, right.
But then, and so I was going, why didn't he do game 5? But then I looked back and both Trinan and Phillips threw a lot the day before.
Yes, right.
You can't do that then.
Yeah,
Thank you,
right.
Eric. Shout out to Eric Steven for his chart. Do you see that chart he puts out with all the pitches?
I have not, no.
Oh, make sure you follow
Eric always does
Steven.
great work, though. It wouldn't surprise me if he put out something good like that.
Yeah, he puts these graphics together that shows the week and how many pitches each pitcher threw on each day.
That's cool.
Yeah, find that. Because it was really
doing it right
because
now.
I looked at that and I'm like, okay, this makes more sense now to go with the bullpen game in Game 6 because you have to have given that there's no Vesia, no Gratterall, no Kelly, you have to the pitching trust tree is very light. You can't go and do that without all your horses ready to go. So the off day provided them that day to be ready to go. So don't be surprised if the Dodgers do Game 3 in the World Series or Game 6.
It's crazy. That's crazy.
I know.
That's
I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
There's going to be at least one bullpen game here.
Oh, no doubt.
Maybe 2.
No doubt.
But you know what? In 2020, they did it. And in games that were started by relievers, they were 6-4 in the playoffs in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I went and did that research and stuff because they had Kirsch, Buehler, and Urias. And Urias a couple times didn't start. So they know how to do this, but it just seems extreme. It just seems, oh my gosh. And it's I don't know how much my heart can take this, man.
Yeah. We have a question: who has the most amount of at-bats against Garrett Cole? Mookie Betts is 7 for 17 against Garrett Cole. Tommy Edman has 5 at-bats, no hits. Freddie Freeman has 20 at-bats, 7 hits. So that's a good sign that both Betts and Freeman have had success. Kike Hernandez is 8 for 21. Teo is 5 for 28. Kiermaier's 5 for 41. That's probably not going to be a factor there. Shohei Ohtani is 4 for 20. So your big guys have had it anywhere from really good to success to average success, at least. They've seen him, so there is a history there.
Yeah, and I think if you looked at the 2021 playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
you would see that Kike Hernandez owned him. He went off.
Yeah.
Yeah, Garrett Cole is the pitcher that scares me. Rodon's been good lately.
Yeah.
I
They're
think
good,
he's one of
man.
those-
They're good.
They have to wait. They have to wait Cole's going to pound the zone.
Yeah.
Rodon, never know with him.
Hey, I'll tell you one thing that he's not hitting, or he hit tonight, but I've said it a couple times. I was really glad that Joe brought it up on the broadcast the other night. But Will Smith has had to catch every freaking game, man. That is not, and he's had to catch all these different pitchers. He's had to catch all the bullpen games. You talk about pandemonium on the mound. You know how that affects the most? Your catcher, right? I mean, he's having to catch all these nasty pitches from Blake Trinan, and everything's always like tonight. He never can let a ball get past him. You know, that kind of thing. I mean, so he's had a ton of physical strain put on his body. He's had a ton of mental stress put on him. And so, he isn't hitting very well, but I'll tell you what, I'll take what we're getting out of Will Smith any day and twice on Sundays. Mad respect for him.
Yeah, and, throwing him in the 8 spot's great. It works.
Sure, absolutely.
Because now all of a sudden the expectation's a little different, and he's doing, like you said, what he needs to do, which is handle that pitching staff. I thought Barnes might get a start somewhere in here, but his throwing is atrocious.
Yeah.
But he handles the pitchers well. But, Will's done a great job.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, Barnes has not played in the playoff. I think he has an at-bat maybe, a pinch hit at-bat. He came in late for a couple of innings. Was that this series or last series? I can't remember.
He came in this series because Will Smith got his hand hit.
Yeah, right.
Remember Lux pinch hit for him?
Yeah.
So I'm glad. I hope Barnes gets. Barnes, one of those guys, man.
Yeah.
He'll do something.
He'll
do something.
Yeah.
I mean, because in that 2020 World Series, if you remember, he had a really big bunt.
Yeah.
And then of course he was the final guy that Blake Snell faced that year.
Yeah. Hey, you don't live in San Diego anymore. Redondo Beach is where you moved to, right? Is that what you said?
Me?
No,
I'm in Escondido. That's still
Escondido.
in San Diego.
Yes.
Yeah.
You are still in San Diego. Is that right?
Yeah, we're still. Yeah, I still got a 100-mile drive to go.
So what's the vibes like in San Diego now that the Dodgers beat them?
Casey, all of a sudden people didn't want to talk about baseball with me anymore.
Oh, really?
It was amazing. They just all of a sudden a ton of people were
just shut off,
baseball fans and had things to say to me.
That's hilarious.
And then it stopped.
That is awesome. That is absolutely awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Hey Tim, I'm gonna get out of here. It is 11:30 my time.
Oh,
final thoughts here though.
I'm just really shout out to Dave Roberts. I'm
No
really
doubt.
To see his growth.
If they win it, he's a Hall of Famer.
Absolutely. So guys, Friedman's a Hall of Famer. Dave Roberts a Hall of Famer. Stan Kasten already should be, but get him in there. And let's end this weird, crazy injury-plagued season in which neither one of us has sat there and made the excuses. And I never made any excuses to any other teams, any other fans. There are no excuses. Next man up. The Dodgers have done an amazing job dealing with what they did. No one could foresee what happened with the pitching. I mean, it's beyond anything we've ever seen, especially with our young guys. It makes you want to throw up. But shout out to those guys. Casey, I really appreciate you having me on.
I appreciate you coming on, man.
Man, it's always fun to get on with you, man. We'll have to. You know what?
We'll do a show this week.
Folks, we're gonna
both sides.
We're gonna both have our channels on fire.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll hit a show for both sides this week and get after it there. So, hey, Tim, appreciate it. Thanks, man, and go Dodgers. Congratulations to everybody involved, right?
Yep. God bless everyone. Go Dodgers.
See you, man. See ya.